Good morning, this is Dr. Turner for Integrated Math 1. Today we're covering 8.2, which is looking at side, angle, side, triangle congruency. In 8.1, we said there are going to be a total of 5 different ways that we can show two triangles are congruent. So we're just chugging along here in 8.1 through 8.5. Now we've already introduced angle, side, angle, triangle congruency. So now today we're going to introduce side, angle, side, triangle congruency. So this is what it's going to look like if we take two triangles here. We'll move this over. Again, they don't have to be oriented the same way. For side, angle, side triangle congruency, we need to have two pairs of sides that are congruent. And again, it doesn't have to be oriented the same way. And then the angle between those sides has to be congruent to the other angle between the two sides as well. And so this would be an example of side, angle, side. Now, just like we did in 8.1, in 8.2, it is possible to end up with diagrams where the given information isn't explicit. So in 8.1, we used an example where we had two triangles that were sharing a side, but it is implied that a side is congruent to itself. Similarly, if I have a diagram, something like this, let's say, where I have two triangles that are sharing a common vertex. Again, we're not going by orientation, just by given information. And I could make this even a little more complicated, but let's say that we say that these two line segments are congruent, and that these two line segments are congruent, and that these two line segments are parallel. And I could ask you, are the triangles congruent, yes or no, and why? Now, we have a pair of sides that are congruent, we have a pair of sides that are congruent, but for SAS, we need to be able to show that the angles in between those two side pairs are also congruent. Now, there's not a given information here that specifically indicates that. However, because these two lines are parallel, these angles are congruent because they're alternate interior angles. And if you need a little bit of review on that, we cover it in Unit 7, specifically 7.4. So on a test or an assignment, both of these would be yes, the triangles are congruent. How? By side, angle, side. Once we're back in person, we'll do some two-column proofs or flow proofs that involve showing or proving that these are true, and we'll go step by step. But for now, your answer is just yes or no, and why. Now that we're into 8.2, you could potentially have a couple questions involving side, angle, side, but you've already covered angle, side, angle, so I might sprinkle in a couple of those questions as well. So for any two triangles now, and it's going to be the same going forward, the question is going to be, are they congruent, yes or no, and why? So for instance, if I had these two angles congruent, these two angles congruent, and these sides congruent, then you would tell me, yes, those triangles are congruent. How? Here, by angle, side, angle, whereas the new information we're doing side, angle, side. And similarly, if, sometimes you're going to have triangles where you don't have congruent angles, which is also fine. So have a triangle here, have a triangle here. Again, going based on given information, not by what it looks like or what it appears to be. So for instance here, if I say that these two angles are congruent, if I say these two angles are congruent, well, that's not enough information. I don't have side, angle, side. I don't have angle, side, angle. So my answer here would be no. In 8.3 and 8.4, we're going to continue to build on this. But that's it for today. Please look at the supplemental resources. If you guys have questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, have a good day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.